Well, well, well. Welcome to another episode of the Two Texas Teas podcast. I am your co-host Don, and Lawson would be with us this week, but unfortunately, the app that we use to record has turned into the op. Therefore, this week's episode will just be a little bit different. We previously recorded an interview with a very dear friend of mine. His name is Jordan Webb. Jordan is a avid traveler and he probably won't like me saying this, but he's an excellent in computers, IT, information systems, things of that nature. We went to the same university together. And this interview was recorded earlier, so forgive the quality. Earlier meaning a few months ago, so forgive the quality. You know, as we've been saying in a lot of our marketing material, that a lot of what we do here at Two Texas Teas is we're fixing it as we go along. It gets better with every episode, the audio, the video, everything else. But Jordan Webb is a dear friend of mine. We're going to discuss in this interview just the experiences and the perspectives of people who are not from Texas who come to Texas, and then what is their thoughts? Like what do they see when they come to Texas? Jordan really loves Dallas. He's been to Austin. He likes Houston. I personally, you know me, I like San Antonio, I like Austin a lot, but I am not from Texas. So Lawson usually does his perspective of someone who's been here her entire life. I do perspective as the person who just recently moved here and loved it immediately. As soon as I stepped off the plane, I said, I should have moved here a lot sooner. And so we'll both have a discussion. Jordan and I will both have a discussion and just our thoughts and a casual conversation on what it's like to live in Texas, what it's like to visit Texas. But much appreciated. So let's get on with the interview. Peace. This is the first of many interviews with a stranger, and today we are joined by the one and only Jordan Webb. You can introduce yourself.
What's up, everybody? My name is, as Don said, I'm Jordan Webb. Me and him have been friends for quite a long time, and I am very excited to be the first guest on the podcast. A huge honor. I appreciate it, and I can't wait to get started.
Excellent. So today our topic is culture. Essentially, Jordan is not from Texas. I am not from Texas originally, but the culture of Texas does hit you when you get there and you live there. And
100%. Absolutely.
depending on what city you live in, it's a little bit different. But today we'll talk about culture. If you wanted to start off for us.
Yeah, so for me, the first time I ever went to Austin, Texas was about 4 or 5 years ago for work, and that was the first time I had ever been to the Longhorn State. And I had always kind of heard in time, I'd heard these rumors, these myths, these legends of Texas, because Texas being one of the largest and most populous states in the United States, it's kind of hard not to. And when I got there, I was really taken, just really almost instantly fell in love with this way that, in a traditionally conservative state, overarching, that on the ground level, there was an incredible sense of artistic freedom and flow. I've never quite been to a place where you have, on one hand, kind of the old ingrained ideas of what we think Texas is culturally, politically, um, but then you had this incredible influx of so many young people walking around doing numerous different things in technology and music and art and food. And it really just kind of really just hit me in the face. And I was like, man, this has got to be a place that I got to come back to. I got to know more about. And now I've been now 4 or 5 times. And every time I go, I fall more in love with the place. I've always said if I had one place that was not on the coast that I wanted to live, it would probably be Austin, Texas. I would move if I didn't have family in North Carolina still alive, I would probably be gone to Austin, Texas, probably already by now. It just is a place that's really special. And for anybody out there listening, if you haven't been, you need to put it on your list right away. It's a place that's really going to capture you.
So essentially, I guess your experience with Texas is similar to mine. I don't know what episode this might be connected to, but I think I mentioned in the very first episode of the podcast that when I first came to Texas, I had this expectation that I was going to show up and then there were going to be cowboys
Oh yeah.
on horseback walking
Horses.
through the
Yeah.
city, especially in San Antonio. I mean,
Yeah.
you kind
Right.
of, as somebody that doesn't have no concept of Texas,
Right. Right. Right.
only thing you really know from the outside is Houston and Dallas, and you
Sure.
assume Dallas is okay, cowboy country, and you assume Houston, as my cousin had put it, is a party every single day.
Right. Right.
San Antonio, I had no concept of, and then Austin, I had no concept of. So I
Mhm.
kind of came in there with eyes wide open, just ready for any experience.
Sure.
And I got there and I was surprised. I was like, wait a second, like there are no tumbleweeds, there's no cowboys. Well, there
Yeah.
are cowboys, but they don't like
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. There are some, but they are on
Yeah.
the south side of
Oh
San
yeah. Oh
Antonio.
yeah.
And then those people are really, really cool.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you get there and you're like, okay, well, what is Texas? Like, what is it really about? You
Mhm.
start to learn that each individual city in Texas does have
Oh
its
yeah.
own kind of unique
Oh,
flavor, the kind of unique
absolutely.
vibe, which is funny to me. I mean, you could even say North Carolina, where we were both were. I don't know, does Charlotte have that big of a difference between Raleigh? I mean, I'm assuming it does, but in
Mhm.
Texas, it feels like each city is its own little country. And I
Mhm.
guess from that experience, I met a lot of people who were willing to take me underneath their arm and be like, hey, you're not from here. Let us tell you
Mhm.
what it is about Texas. Let us tell you, let's show you the ropes. And then I think quickly after like the first few months, I was like, oh, this is one of the greatest places ever. Why did I not move here faster? Although it did take me longer to stop shopping at Walmart and start shopping at HEB, but that's a whole nother
Hey.
conversation.
Sure.
What about let's segue into
Mhm.
let's talk about a big topic that can be kind of a softball. What about
Sure.
food? Like what how do you view Texas's food?
Oh, man. Well, I think most people, when they hear Texas, they instantly think of barbecue. I think barbecue,
Yep.
even though most people don't know this, chili is actually the state food of Texas. People actually don't know that. But people do not come from around the world to go taste Texas chili. They come for the barbecue. And I mean, they come from across the globe and they travel hours to and wait in line for hours, 6, 7 hours at a time to eat. Sometimes you get there and it's sold out. So Texas barbecue culture has become something almost of a myth for the rest of the world. Growing up here in North Carolina, we have our version of barbecue, which is all pork. It's all we eat is pork, pork, pork. North Carolina is the largest pork producer in the United States. So we that's all the barbecue I knew as a kid. And then right there when I was a teenager, just how I got into it, I convinced my mother to buy me a smoker. I wanted to get into smoking and understand barbecue and really start learning about it. And so everything I was doing was pork ribs, pork shoulder, pulled pork, everything was pork. And then when I went to Texas for that first time, everything's beef. Texas cattle country, right? Longhorn, steers, baby. That's all it is. And traveling around, one of the company I was working with, he took me around, and it's the first time I ever went to Terry Black's barbecue.
Mm.
And one of the iconic, legendary places in the entire state, in the entire world of barbecue. Everybody knows who Terry Black's is. The brisket and the beef ribs that I got there, it's an experience that it's almost like a psychedelic experience when you first eat it. There's just the amount of food, the flavor. And I had the fortune of actually going and talking to the pit master in the back, and I was asking him all these questions like, what's your rub, what's the sauce, how do you do this, how do you do that? Come to find out, it's just salt and pepper. When you
Yep.
Texas
Yep.
barbecue, it's just salt and pepper. Here in North Carolina, we have brown sugar, paprika, onion powder, garlic powder, and a lot of our spices are rubs. It's just salt and pepper. And that absolutely blew me away that really three ingredients, salt, pepper, and smoke, can create something absolute delicious. And I've really been impressed over the last, 2 or 3 years. A lot of young people, a lot of people in their 20s are getting into the barbecue. If you read some of the literature, you go on YouTube and watch some of theirs, there are some incredible young smokers out there that are coming up, some real pit masters coming up through the chains that are really changing the game on combining modern American cuisine with barbecue, or influence the Mexican influence of food on Texas, which is you putting that influence into barbecue. People have come, as we know, a huge influx from California in the last 2 or 3 years has come to Texas. That influence in food has followed them and ingrained itself into their culture. So I've been fascinated to see with how Texas has taken this massive conglomerate and kind of made it their own thing. As far, of course, the further south you go in Texas, the Mexican food is incredible. We ate at a couple places when I was out there last. just blows the rest of the country away. People think we have Mexican food here. We do not have Mexican food here in North Carolina. I can promise you that. I'm sorry, I can say that I'm from, but we do not have Mexican food. But just an incredible amount of artistic freedom when it comes to the food that they're eating. I'm a huge fan of how Texas takes all those pieces, puts them together, and turns it into something really special.
Hey everyone, thank you for coming to our ad break. This is for all the folks that would love to be a part of our Two Texas Tea podcast in a way such as sponsoring. So if you are interested in wanting to be a part of the podcast and share your information about your business or what you're doing, you can always send us your inquiry or your interest by going to emailing us on our email address right here below, or following us on social media and sending us a message, or checking out our website. So we hope to hear from you soon, and we would love to be able to showcase what you're doing.
Exactly. Want to echo the point, because before, I mean, we share the experience of being in North Carolina and traveling to Texas. Before I even got to Texas, we all know that North Carolina barbecue also, depending on what side of the state you are on, has a lot of sauce and a lot of vinegar.
Oh yeah.
My brother was the first person who was very instrumental in me. He had a smoker. Like, he moved to Texas right outside the Air Force, and he had a smoker. And he was like, "Let me smoke you up a brisket for the first time." And I remember being like, "What is that?" So he spent all 2 days cooking this brisket in the back, really serious about it. And let alone, he's an amateur pit master, so he's not a professional. But he's like, "You got to take this seriously." And I remember it coming out of the grill, and he gave it to me. And the first thing I asked was like, "Hey, do y'all got any sauce?" And I think the music just stopped. He said, "What did you just say?"
It's like a record.
Exactly. What did you just say? I was like, "Y'all, this is barbecue, right? Where's the sauce?" He said, "No,
That's
sir,
right.
not down here. We do not put sauce on a brisket. You just eat it as is." And I'm like, "All you put in this was salt and pepper?" He's like, "What? That is the essence of what makes really good brisket, smoked brisket down here." And bit into it. I was like, "Oh yeah, this is delicious. Why did I not try this before? Why have I never heard of it?" Everything in San Antonio the first few years was just like light bulbs going up. Like, what is this? Like, why have I never heard of this before? And then, to echo your point on the Tex-Mex, my brother told me my brother's a foodie. So he told me when I first moved down to Texas, there are so many different restaurants you can go to, especially San Antonio. I feel like San Antonio and Austin, because we are a Central Texas podcast, have some of the two best kind of cuisines you can kind of tackle. I know San Antonio itself is like a World Heritage Site for gastronomy. So is it gastronomy? I think it's gastronomy. So it is a place to go to have a whole bunch of different type of cuisines. And I feel like Austin, Texas is somewhere where you go to where you want to see people on the forefront of experimentation. Like, Austin is a place where I've been to where they had a Tex-Mex Indian food fusion restaurant, which I just thought, delicious.
That's a lot of stuff going on there, man. Boy, my stomach, boy. Oof.
Exactly. No, and I was the same. But you bite into it, and you're like, "Oh, this is delicious."
Good.
Yeah. But after a while, it like everything in Austin is basically experiment. Let's use this with this. Let's use this with this, and everything's really good. But San Antonio, I feel like, is a lot more traditional. And I remember being like, I mean, I wasn't really too big of a Taco Bell person, but I remember saying to somebody in San Antonio that I was going to go to Taco Bell, and again, the music stopped. They say, "What did you just say?"
What?
Don't disrespect us like this. We do not eat Taco Bell down here in Texas. And I was like, "What do y'all eat?" They're like, "Do you not see all of these?"
Truck,
exactly. Like, what are you talking about? Like, if you just look down one way, there's restaurants, mom and pop restaurants down that way. If you look down another way, there's mom and pop restaurants on the other way. Like, do not insult us with Taco Bell. So I learned that Taco Bell is a no-go. And food trucks are so funny because they're always very delicious. And although I will say the controversial take in the Central Texas podcast is that San Antonio does have better tacos than Austin. But
shots across the bow. Wow.
I know. Two of the best food trucks that I've ever been to, both were doing Tex-Mex, were in Austin. So I would just have to. I know. That's a very controversial take.
I hear the comments coming for you already, man. Like, this is dangerous, bro. I hear the fingers type out.
They were delicious, and I was really glad. When you move from San Antonio to Austin and you start biting into food that like the Tex-Mex tacos and stuff that are
Mhm.
really good, you got to look around because you like, I hope nobody recognizes me enjoying this because this is delicious. But
Right.
barbecue, Tex-Mex, and there's a whole host of other restaurants and
Oh
food
yeah.
down there. I mean, I guess at what between Whataburger and In-N-Out, like which one are you? You got to be careful. Just
I always find it, well, if you Whataburger definitely has its place, but I would say when I hear people talk about specifically In-N-Out, there's always a whisper, like a whisper in the wind that In-N-Out's going to cross Arizona and come east at some
mm,
point. I hear that more than any. I think the
it's
one
in
burger spot.
Texas. They do have it
Correct.
in
Is it real?
Texas.
I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
yeah,
Okay, so I
yeah,
did
yeah.
not. So they've come that far. So, but I'm living my whole life on the East Coast. I've always heard that whisper. I think that's the one place, the one fast food chain that people have sought out the most historically is can we get an In-N-Out burger? I think there are just as good burgers other places out there, but for some reason, In-N-Out seems to hold really this grip on the consciousness of being, one of the great fast food burgers. For me, it probably would be in it because I've been to California probably more than I have Texas, and just being out there and eating it many times. But both are excellent options. I don't have a problem with either of them.
All right, that's a good answer. That's a
Yeah,
good political
yeah,
answer.
yeah, politically correct.
Exactly. We are coming up. I guess we have a few more minutes, so we'll hit you with a few rapid fire, I guess, sections,
Sure.
kind of
Yeah,
about
man.
culture in general.
Yeah,
So
man.
you said Austin is your kind of go-to city
Yes, sir.
in Texas.
Yes,
What
sir.
have you been to Dallas or Houston or San Antonio? And then if not, like, what are your thoughts on what you think you might experience if you go there, based off of like what we hear about like in the on the internet from other people.
Right. I've been to Dallas one time, and that was for work. Just the nature of how it turns out. Dallas, if you ask me about the different pieces of how I think each of them kind of turn out, Dallas is like the big oil money, high tech, big money type center of the entire scene. The Cowboys are there. Dallas kind of represents I would say, the most commercialized part of what Texas can be when you put a very strong economy into a really great place. You get Dallas, Texas. Austin is like the free music, they call it the live music capital of the world. Live music, food, culture. University of Texas is there, open. San Antonio is I would say from what like talking to Texas people, I would say like San Antonio is what they would call is like one of the most stable almost cities you have. You've got a this incredible history of San Antonio in its part in American history. You have an organization like the San Antonio Spurs, which I know that you love greatly and
Uh,
what they
I'm a
can do.
huge Spurs fan.
Big Spurs fan, right? So and of course San Antonio has a huge Mexican influence and a huge Hispanic influence, and then Houston on the coast um, being right there on the Gulf really does have almost like this party vibe to it. And I didn't expect that when I first learned about Houston or the image I had in my head of Houston, but it really has become almost like a really big tourist attraction in the city of Texas, being right there on the Gulf. And when I ask people where you going, if you're going to Texas, I either get Austin or Houston a lot of the time. And that really shocked me because I thought Houston, lack of a better term, was a little bit more grimy, a little bit more hardcore than some of the other parts of Texas. But it's become a really thriving metropolitan tourist area. I would love to go to Houston. That would probably be my next on the list, actually, to go to Houston. I would love to go there.
We for sake of the like the concentration of the podcast, we decided to focus on Central Texas. If we did all
Okay.
of Texas, that'd just be way
Right,
too
right,
many
right.
like
No, that's
people
too
and
big of a
topics we
part.
could
Yeah,
bring in.
yeah.
Exactly, exactly.
Right, right. Too much.
Another rapid fire question: is Texas exceptionalism like real, or do you think it might be just a product of propaganda?
No, Texas exceptionalism is real. That's not a front. There's a reason that people like Joe Rogan and Elon Musk chose to put their businesses in Texas. You have this incredible climate. People love hot. People love warm. You have this incredible climate. You have these people, and then, oh, like I said in the beginning, you have this overarching idea that we're going to let people come here and make the life they want to make on their own terms. We're not going to dictate. We're not going to tell them how they're supposed to live. We're going to let them make something of themselves on their own. We all love no state income tax in Texas. Huge part of growing businesses and allowing innovation to come there. It's absolutely real. The question I have though is what is, in the last 2 or 3 years, 300,000 people from New York, 400,000 people from California, just do true blue born Texans feel like they're going to lose a grip on their home state? Or, what is that going to turn? Is Texas going to remain Texas, or is it going to become this algorithm of things? So that's the only question I would have about it. But no, Texas exceptionalism is 100% real. There's a reason why it has the either first or second GDP of states in this nation. That's not made up. That's real.
So to pivot or to add on to your point, funny enough, like when you go to like I guess like Houston or Austin for let's say for conferences and things of that nature,
Sure.
you run into a lot of people that are from everywhere.
Oh,
But
yeah.
when I lived in Austin, I very rarely ran into someone that was actually from Austin. That is the most transient
That's true.
city
That's
that
true.
I have ever been in my life. Everybody
down,
was
yeah.
from somewhere else, and we all moved
That's
there
true.
around the same time because we had heard about the exceptionalism and I know all the
Sure.
opportunities that Austin presented. So in one aspect, it's really nice to have like a melting pot of people all come together
Oh,
from
yeah.
all over the country. But on the other hand, you wonder what happened to all the actual people from Austin that have lived here before this tech boom. Where did they go? It's a question in itself. So the last question is: so Texas has let's say Texas is a cultural phenomenon around the country.
Of course.
What is
Oh,
one
yeah.
thing that Texas rubs off on other states? You think like what is something that people from other states kind of benefit from? I guess Texas being Texas. Also, if you've been paying attention to the growth, you know that we have merchandise now. We have an Instagram shop. We have a TikTok shop. We have a shop. Just go to 2texastees.com. That's 2texastees.com. Support us, and we really do appreciate it. I know one of our supporters reached out to us and said, hey, you all don't really call out your supporters and you don't really appreciate them, but we do. We do. We thank you all so much for supporting this little up-and-coming podcast thus far. Hopefully the sky is the limit, and who knows where we will be this year upcoming, but we really appreciate it. If you want to be a guest on the show, or if you're a sponsor, and then I guess we're not really clear, so guests, you don't have to be anybody of stature. Like if you just want, if you have an opinion, just come talk to us on our show. We'll get back in touch with you. Reach out to us at listen@2texastees.com, or you can go to our website at 2texastees.com, fill out the little form, and then we're accepting everyone. We're really democratizing the type of guests we get on our show. So if you have an idea, if you have an opinion, come talk to us. At the same time, if you're a sponsor, you don't have to be a large corporation, although Buc-ee's being a sponsor would be amazing. But if you have a product, a service that you want to promote, or a business that you want to promote, local businesses, just let us know. I mean, we can definitely shout you out to our 2 million followers. So again, the website is 2texastees.com, and creatively, or I don't know how to segue the word or whatever the filler word is, but it's 2texastees.com, spelt out 2, or it's just the number 2. So 2texastees.com. So we will see you next week. Peace.
I think Texas sets a great example of how to allow people at the grassroots level, at the township level, to allow them to decide how their lives should be done. I mean, that's from more governmental side of it. From a cultural side, I know for a fact, just in fashion and art and things like that, the cowboy thing has spread all over the place. How many cowboy boots do you see walking around? I see them all the time here in Wilmington, North Carolina, and I live on the beach. So I think Texas, at its heart, what it represents to the rest of the country is just do your own thing. Do your own thing, make your own life, and if there's something out there that you want to be or you want to chase, go get it. That's what Texas has always had, that kind of outlaw, kind of rebel mentality to it, going back to the days before it was even a state and a part of the United States. It's always been that place of kind of gamblers and outlaws, but in a good way in the modern time, of taking risk, of seeking innovation. And I think that's what it represents to the rest of the country, or can be a beacon of light to places in the rest of the country, is that you come there, you work, you play hard, work harder, you make what you want, and you can have the life that you wanted. I think that's really what it has become in the minds of other Americans.
I would say culturally, we do have America's team, but I
Oh God!
that's a conversation for another time.
How many? how many Super Bowls in the last 30 years there, Don?
How far do I got to go back? How much time have we got?
Exactly. When were you born? Yeah. Has there been
Exactly,
one in your
exactly.
lifetime? So that's my question. So
Hey, well, we are coming. I guess we're coming to the end. Thank you,
Okay.
Jordan.
Oh,
for the
man, it's
interview.
great.
You are our first interviewee, so we'll put this up on the YouTube. We'll put it up on the Spotify. If you are a fan of what you see, go ahead and subscribe. Thank you for following us, and we'll segue right into the outro. But thank you so much, Jordan.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you for having me, and I hope to be back.
All right, appreciate it, y'all. So you've made it to the end of another Two Texas Teas podcast. We appreciate it. If you want to learn more about us, learn more about what we're doing, want to buy some merchandise, please visit our website at twotexasteas.com. Visit our social media, like, subscribe, share, talk to people about it, and let's grow this fan base. Thank you all.
See you next time. We did it.